Hey, so this is actually part 2 of a 3-part series that I made on how to split your hives with 3 different methods. So this one's right in the middle in terms of how comfortable you are with your bees and how much experience that you have. It's a pretty quick, simple method, but if you go to my channel or if you're subscribed already, you'll find a playlist there that if it doesn't right now, it will very soon have 3 different videos on how to split your hives. Okay, our second method of splitting, another very simple, easy to do method that doesn't require finding the queen. In this case, I've got a double brood chamber colony that I want to split down into 2 singles. So also this method doesn't require finding the queen, but it may require a little more skill and confidence with your colonies because we are going to spot eggs to make this work successfully. But we're not going to do that today. First thing we need to do is get a queen excluder, similar to the first method. And all I'm going to do is take these 2 boxes apart, put a queen excluder in between, and walk away. Just put a bit of smoke in between so we don't hurt too many bees. Actually, this is pretty light. I'll just set this aside for 1 minute. Queen excluder will go between our 2 boxes and the box back on top. So with this queen excluder between the 2 brood chambers, now the queen is restricted to whichever brood chamber she's in. I'm going to wait 4 days and then I'm going to come back and spot eggs, and that'll tell me which brood chamber this queen is in. Okay, it's been 4 days since I slid this queen excluder in between the 2 brood chambers of this double, and so today my goal is to look for eggs, decide which brood chamber that the queen is in, and then make my split. So I open this up. You can see they had a frame feeder in the top because they got a little late spring feeding, but I can take that out today. So crack the top brood chamber off the queen excluder. I'm just going to set it right here on an upside down lid, and I'll start looking for the queen. I think I'll just start in the top box here. So remember that once a queen lays an egg, it's an egg for 3 days, and then it turns into a little larva. So all I'm looking for is which brood chamber contains eggs, because it's been 4 days since I kept the queen to 1 box. And so really what I'm looking for is sort of large empty spaces around the brood that could easily, like this frame contains capped brood, but then sort of some empty spaces, and I'll look in those spaces to see if there are any eggs. So far I don't see any. But there's quite a few frames containing capped brood up here in the top box. Okay, so looking in this top box at 5 or 6 frames that that contain capped brood, I'm not seeing any eggs, and that just took a few seconds. So I'm going to go down into that bottom box now. So putting those frames back. Oops. Set the queen excluder down. So it's my guess that the queen is in here, and I should be pretty quickly able to spot some eggs. Okay. So just on the second frame that I pulled out here, it has some capped brood, but it has quite a bit of sort of empty space around the capped brood, and I was able to spot eggs in there right away. I'll show you a close-up of what I was looking for. I'll shake these bees off. And you can see quite a few eggs in there. Okay, so that was relatively easy to spot a frame with lots of eggs on it. Just the second frame that I looked at. So I'm confident that the queen is in this bottom brood chamber, which is great because I'm going to leave the queen in this box where it is. And I took a look at this frame and I know it had quite a lot of capped brood in it with young bees on it. So this is a great box just to simply take away and put it in a different position. But obviously if you want to get into shuffling frames, then it's best to know exactly where the queen is, as in find your queen, but that sort of defeats the purpose. So the real smart thing to do would be to shuffle frames before you put the queen excluder in and make sure there's enough frames in each brood chamber for wherever the queen ends up, and you can easily make the split that way. But this worked out just fine. So this is going to stay here with the queen, and this is going to just move to a different spot in this yard as well. Then the last point that I really want to make, I always recommend adding a queen, either a mated queen or a ripe queen cell that is ready to emerge into your splits. When you make your split and you know where the queen is and where she isn't, that you introduce a queen there intentionally that has good genetics and has been raised well. So that's it for part 2. Like I said, go to the channel or subscribe and stay tuned for the final part of this 3-part series on how to split your hives. Thanks for watching.